Rockstars, Eric Andreas, your guitar sage here to show you 6 easy, proven patterns that will absolutely help you to dominate the fretboard, okay? Now, I just did a live broadcast this Saturday where we gave away thousands of dollars worth of great stuff. I gave away one of my personal guitars, a Variax. It's a $1,500 guitar. I just shipped that out. We gave away thousands of dollars worth of courses. We do this every single month. Give guitars away, and anyhow, the whole 9 yards. So that's what this is, what I'm going to be covering for you today. There was a PDF that I provided for folks. I'm going to provide that for you. The link's going to be in the description of this video. What else? Anything else? I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, and then, yeah, here we go. So so I spent about an hour doing that. I have separate videos for all these, so if you need more information here on YouTube, you can find it, and then I've got other free courses for you and what have you that you can check out. So the 6 things that I'm going to be talking with you about today are open strings and knowing the musical alphabet. Okay, you got to know that. The open string and the musical alphabet. Some of these you're not going to know off the top of your head. Okay, that's all right. When you learn one form, you basically learn all the different keys. If you learn G major, you basically know all the scales and all the keys, and I'll show you why that is. Very unlike any other instrument where you have to know the sharps and flats and different fingerings and what have you. Not so with guitar. I'm going to show you something called stationary springboards. These are just names that I've come up with for concepts that I've said, hey, that's something that's very useful, and I think my students can use that. Stationary movable springboards, the 1-4-5 zigzag, and what I call note replication. Okay, so let's talk about it from the ground up, and I'm going to go through these very quickly because you've got that attached PDF and you have other videos regarding this. In fact, this first lesson I'm going to teach you right now is covered in the free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30, the top 30 lessons out of thousands, by the way, that I've created a special course for you for free. Okay, so check that out. The link will be below. Here we go. So first off, you got to know the names of the open strings: E, A, D, G, B, E. So from the thickest or lowest tone string, we got E, A, D, G, B, E. Okay? An easy way to remember that is Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. So just write that down, remember that. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. That's how you know the open strings. Then we have to know the musical alphabet. I'm going to go through it really quickly. It goes A through G, no H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Okay? It just goes A through G and it stops there. When we sharpen a note, we raise it. Okay, so if this is a G, which it is, then this would be a G sharp. If this is an A, then this would be an A sharp, and so on, okay? Now, with that being said, every note has a sharp except for B and E, okay? And you can remember that. I always tell my students, remember, let it be, so B, E. Or some folks will say B sharp, okay? B and E don't have sharps. Meaning, you know, be on time, B sharp. So B and E don't have sharps. So with that being said, let's go through the musical alphabet. Check this out. So A, because it's an open A string, right? We said Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. So A, 8 stands for A. So we got A. Every note has a sharp except for B and E. So when I say B or E, we won't have a sharp. We'll go straight to the next letter. Every other one will have a sharp. So here's A. Here's A sharp. And we're just going through the alphabet. A, B. Does B have a sharp? Nope, right? We just had that bit that we talked about. So we have C, C sharp, A, B, C, D. D has a sharp. A, B, C, D, E. It's okay, you can sing it. I do it all the time. There's E. Does E have a sharp? Nope. It's an F, right? F sharp. G. A, B, C, D, F, G sharp. And then look, here, the 12th fret is back to A. Now, why is that important? Because we're going to be talking about that in just a moment here, okay? When the musical alphabet starts back over on the 12th fret from the 0th fret or open position. So one thing I want you to do is use that PDF that's in the description below. I want you to use that PDF to write these different combinations out. If you've never done this before, do it one time. You're not going to forget it. If you don't do it, you're not going to remember it, okay? So then I want you to take all the other strings. So here we are on the low E string. We're not going to do them right now. I want you to do them on your own. But here's the E. And then does E have a sharp? Nope. So we have F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. So it starts over again, right? Remember it said no H, I, J, K, L, M, and a P. So G, G sharp, A. And then we're going to keep going. A sharp, B, B, or C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, etc. So when you get up to the 12th fret here, you got E, A, D, G, B, E. Easy enough, right? So with that being said, we're going to come back to that 12th marker in just one moment. So that's concept one. You got to know that. Now, with that being said, no one is thinking about that when they're playing for the most part. The only time you do that is when someone says, hey, would you play a B chord? And you're like, okay, well, here's a B chord. They're like, no, play it further up the neck. Now you got to start thinking, okay, well, this is a B, you know, this is a B. So, okay, well, I got to play a... Okay, so there's a higher up the neck, or, you know, you can easily find that out using this method. It takes a little time, but the things I'm going to show you after this are going to massively put this on steroids, if you will. Don't do steroids, kids, but what I'm telling you is it's going to make it massive, okay? So you got to know that to start off. That's your basis. Open strings, and then know the musical alphabet. Do this for all 6 strings. By the 6th string, you're going to have this down, no problem. It's going to take you about 5 minutes. Invest the time, okay? Do it. Probably the number one thing you could do is learn that, okay? Number 2, learn one form for all the different keys. So what I mean by this is when you learn a scale on the guitar, you basically have learned 12 scales. Now, I used to take class piano in college, and when we learned scales, we had to learn different fingerings for every single scale, which was a real pain in the butt sometimes. So, and same thing with the chords and what have you. For every different key, a major chord, not a C major, but a major chord might look different in a different key because of all the different black and white keys. Not so on the guitar. So for instance, if I learned the scale G major, then the only thing I have to do if I wanted to play that in A major is bump it up a whole step. If I wanted to play it in B, I take this first note, which is an A, and I say A sharp. We're using our thing that we just talked about, B. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So there's B major, C major. Now look at my hand. It's the same pattern every time. I can do it even talking because same pattern. And every single time I play it, I'm playing it in a different key. Pretty cool, okay? So understand that concept. If you learn the pentatonic scale in A, then you can learn it in E real easily. Or B, or C. Okay, real easy to take a pattern and just move it up and down the fretboard. If you don't look at it, it's a lot easier in the beginning. You'll just go by rote memory. But moving that around to where you know that first note is, that's going to be your tonic, and that's going to help a lot. And that's using step 1, okay? So number 3 is stationary springboards. I know I'm sailing through these, but again, that's what the free course is for, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Some of this is going over your head. Start there and download that PDF for sure. You got to download that. That's everything what we're talking about right now. Stationary springboards. Stationary meaning standing still. And the stationary springboards are, to me, places on the neck that are landmarks, if you will, that will help you determine where you're at without having to start at the beginning, okay? If you were in a maze and you started at the beginning and every single time you messed up you had to go all the way to the beginning again, that would be very unfortunate, right? So it'd be easier is halfway through the maze you could say, well, where am I? And you can have a kind of an aerial view. Oh, there I am. I got to take a left here or something like that. That's what springboards are to me. So a couple, 3 springboards actually that jump out right away to me are the 12th fret, the 5th fret, and the 17th fret. Let's talk about them. So if the open strings are E, A, D, G, B, E. Remember Eddie 8 Dynamite, Goodbye Eddie. Well, just like the rainbow, the musical spectrum, the chromatic spectrum, chroma meaning color, starts over again at the 12th fret. Okay, so here's an E. We go all the way up. That's an E. If this is an A, that's an A. Okay, and basically what's happening is from here to here, the vibration is actually vibrating twice as fast as its lower counterpart. So this low E is spinning twice, it's vibrating twice as slow as this guy. And this guy is vibrating twice as fast as that guy, and so on. So if, let's say that's 100 hertz, this would be 200, this would be 400, 800, 1600, that sort of thing. So that's the stationary springboard. So the 12th fret is one of those places, E, A, D, G, B, E. So if someone asks you, this is why this is powerful. Someone says, what's this note right here? Instead of you starting from the open note and working all the way up, you could say, well, this is an E, I know that. So this has to be an E flat or a D sharp, okay? So whenever we have a sharp, we also have a flat of the letter name that's above it. So if this is a D sharp, this is an E flat, okay? So that's why that's powerful. If someone asks you what this note is, you can say, well, that's an F. And you didn't have to start from here, it takes too long. When you're playing in music and you're asked to do a particular something, it's got to happen really quick, especially if the song is going, right? It doesn't stop for us. Got to keep going, and the beat goes on, right? So here we go. 5th fret, or F. I'm moving too quick. So that's very important at that. So you can segment the neck, boom. So anything down here is going to be really easy to get to because of your open chords. If you know that's a C, you know that's a C. If you're playing a G chord, you know that's a G. E, F, F sharp, G, because you got the low note there. That's other springboards that are down here based off of the open chords. So we got a springboard there, and we've got the open note springboard, or the open chord springboards. But then we have the 12th fret springboard, which is just the exact same thing as the open notes. Okay. Now, the 5th fret and the 17th fret, also duplicate springboards. If you notice what I just did there is I just added 12 to that 5th fret here. So the 5th fret, add 12 is 17, and it's going to duplicate what's happening at the 5th fret. Everything does that on the guitar. If you're playing down here, go up 12 frets. Okay, you don't even have to think about it. You just go up 12 frets, bam, and you're playing the exact same thing an octave up. So this works all the way across the guitar. Now, okay, so we got the springboard, the 12th fret. Now the 5th fret is where we're gonna learn this. If you've ever tuned the guitar to itself, which I have a video for that in the free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Tens of thousands of folks have gone through that already. If you haven't, and you're asking questions about guitar, I don't feel sorry for you. You better start there, all right? Go there, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Now, right here, if you've ever tuned the guitar to itself, you'll know that you can play the same note several times on the guitar. So for instance, this is an open A. That's Eddie 8 Dynamite, right? So here's an open A. If we walk up the fretboard here, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, then that note on the 5th fret of the E string is the same as this open A. Okay, and this works across the guitar. The guitar is tuned in fourths with the exception of the B string. And it would go like this. So that's A's, here are D's, here are G's, whoops, here are B's. Now for B's we have to go down a half step. Don't worry about that. Don't let that interrupt your thought pattern right now. Just believe me. So here is a B, and then we're back up here. The guitar is tuned like that so that we can play all of our chords and scales really nicely. If that was tuned to a fourth there, it would be a big, big, big mess, okay? So try not to let your OCD get a hold of you there and say, well, I gotta have that tuned to a fourth. Don't do it, okay? So with that being said, now the 5th fret becomes a springboard because if I know that this is a D, or I know this is an A, and I know this is an A, well now I got another place to springboard off of. So instead of, if somebody asked me what this note was, I can say it's a B very easily because I know A has a sharp, so I have A sharp, B. So I didn't have to start from here, and I didn't have to go backwards from here. I've subdivided the neck again, Okay, this is what's so powerful, is that we got a subdivision here, here, 12th fret, and now 12 frets up from 5 is 17. Boom, right there. So if someone asks you, on any of these, if someone asks you what this note is, you would know that that is an A. If someone asks you, well, let's try an easier one. If someone asks you what this note is, you'd know it's an A because it's octave up from here, and we know that that is an A because it's in tune with this guy, right? Same thing with this. All right, we're 12 frets up on all that. So that's another springboard. So now we have 0, 5, 12, and 17, okay? That's what I call stationary springboards. Now, these concepts, some of you are going to be like, oh, wow, that's really cool. I never thought about that. Don't let it stop there. For those of you that are like, oh yeah, I knew that, but yet you're not very good at it, means you just haven't practiced it. You've got to put it into practice, otherwise it just won't work, okay? You've got to put it into practice purposefully and then let it become part of you, okay? Let's keep going. We've got 3 more. We're halfway through it. By the way, my friends, if you're learning something here, please, right now, hit like, hit subscribe. I've got online here, I've got thousands of videos. On this channel alone, I've got 900 something. And I give away tons of courses, books, guitars, what have you, away every single month. If you're not signed up over at YourGuitarSage.com/live or on my Facebook page and all that stuff, you're missing out, my friend. All right, let's keep going. Movable springboards. So movable springboards, I'm going to show you one specifically, and it's the octave. It's very easy and it's very, very useful. Probably the most useful movable springboard. So in this case here, if I'm on a G and I want to find a G that's an octave up, it's super, super easy. The only thing I have to do is go down 2 strings, 1, 2, and then go up 2 frets, 1, 2, and that will be a G. And here's my low G. Easy enough. This works anywhere on the fretboard. Watch this. Right, so it just moves. Hendrix used this. Use those octaves. Okay. Now, we can do this going backwards too. If someone says, what's this note right here? I'd say an A. How did I do that so quickly? Because my mind automatically doesn't do the math from here to there. And okay, well, I know that's a G, so that'd be G, G sharp, A. That takes too long. For me, even though that's quick, this one's quicker. For me, I automatically go down and up 2 strings, back 2 frets, up 2 strings, and now I know that's an A. So right off the bat, I see that little square there all the time. So this is an A, down 2 frets, up 2 strings, that's an A. So I use that one a lot. Movable. Okay, and you can do some really fun stuff. I think I just played a Yes tune. Okay, so bum, 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 bum. Is that roundabout? Bum, 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 bum. Let me know. So that's a movable springboard, and this works for strings 6 and 5 when you're starting on the low note. Down 2 strings, up 2 frets. Same thing with the A string. So here we are on the 5th fret of the A. That's a D. So if I want to find an octave up from that, I go down 2, up 2. That's a D. So again, if someone asks you what this note is, instead of, you could start from here, right, and work your way up. But to me, it's so much easier to drop back and go, oh, well, that's a D. I know that's a D, So this works for the 6th and 5th strings, but when we get to the 4th and 3rd strings, we have to go up yet another fret because of that detuned B string. Don't overthink this. Just believe me right now, okay? And later on, it'll make more sense to you. Okay, so for instance, if I play this G, now how do I know that's a G? Because right away, I see that guy, and I got that springboard, right? The open note springboard. But if I play that note right there, I know it's a G because right away I see that in my vision, okay? Now, if I wanted to go up an octave from here, I got to go down 2 strings and up 3 frets. So 1, 2, 3. There's a G. So low G. I'm going to go up, down 2 strings, up 2 frets, down 2, up 3. So we got, make sense? Those are our octaves. Really easy to get to. And this works the same for the 3rd string as well. So right here is a C. I know that's a C right away because, right? I'm telling you, this stuff is wicked quick. Okay, so here you go. you're at C, you're gonna go down 2 strings, 1, 2, and then up 3 frets, 1, 2, 3. There's another C. So you'll hear me do this a lot of times because that's what I'm thinking when I'm soloing. I'm playing, you know, I'm going. You know, right there I just played 4 A's. Here's an A, here's an A, here's an A, and here's an A. All springboard tricks, right? And I'll do this in the middle of my soloing, you know, because it's a little trick, and when you can attach things as you're going along, it makes things a lot easier. Okay, let's talk about the 1-4-5 zigzag. Now, I have a lesson here on YouTube called the Nashville Number System, and it's basically using numbers instead of letters to determine what something is, what its power is, the chord or the note. What I mean by that is this: a C chord in the key of C is the 1, but in the key of G it's the 4. Okay, what I mean by that is this: if I'm in the key of C, here's C, and I'm gonna play through the scale 1. There's the 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 1. Okay, but if I'm playing in the key of G, here's 1, 2, 3, 4. That was our C from before. Now it's a 4 instead of a 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay, and what does that mean? Why is that a big deal? Well, it's a big deal because its power is different. You think about, like, in the Army, you've got generals and majors and privates and what have you, and all of them have a different role. Well, in this case here, if you named it, whatever your last name is, Jones, well, Jones, that doesn't help. We need to know what his rank is, because Jones in the key of C, or C in the key of C, is a 1, and in the key of G, it's a 4. Makes sense? So we got to have a different name. We got to know what its power is, and that's why the number system is absolutely so powerful. So watch that video. Very important. So now that we know that, now our 1-4-5 is real easy to get to, and I'm going to show you this trick here. So here's a 1 in the key of G. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 1, 4, 5. Okay. Now, well, that's important because if we have the 1, 4, 5 and we know where they're at all times, which is super easy. Here in the key of C, we got 1, 4, 5. In the key of A, 1, 4, 5. In the key of F, 1, 4, 5. It's the same every time, okay? Now, that's important because if we know where 1, 4, 5 is at all times, we're only one scale step away from everything else. See, the 1 is next to the 7 and the 2 on either side. The 4 has the 3 before it. The 5 has the 6 after it. And the 7 we've already addressed because that was next to the 1. So you only need those 3 notes, and you can immediately find any other note from the scale right away. This is great for, like, building chords. If someone asks you to play a 6 or a 9 chord, you can grab that 6 or 9 just straight out of the air really quickly using this method. So it's also great for chord progressions. So for instance, if I'm in the key of C and I want to know what the 1-4-5 is, the most common chord progression in the world is a 1-4-5, then I would know right off the bat that that's a C, F, and G. Okay. Now I know that because here's a C, here's an F, here's a G. Now watch this little trick. Because we got that octave, which is down to, up to, or vice versa, right? We talked about the movable springboard octaves. Then that's our 4 and 5. 1, 4, 5, or 1, 4, 5. 1, 4, 5, or 1, 4, 5. That's why I call it the zigzag, because it looks like 4, 5, 1, 4, 5. Remember, if this is going over your head, you got to download that PDF. I made it for you, so take advantage of it. Some of this stuff is going over your head right now. I'd have to sit. This video might be an hour or 2 hours if I was going to explain everything all the way, minute detail. So download that PDF. That's a 1-4-5 zigzag. Super, super duper powerful, especially if you watch my Nashville number system video. All right, my friends, one more. Note replication. By the way, my friends, hit like, hit subscribe right now. Please do that. Take a moment to do that. And let's talk about note replication. Okay, so note replication is this idea that unlike the piano or horns or some other instruments, one note is only one place on that instrument. Unlike guitar, if I was to play a high E, there it is on the high E, here it is on the second string, here it is on the third string, 4th string, 5th string. Right? Easy enough. Same note, but 5 different places. Now, why is that a big deal? Well, it's super powerful because when I'm trying to transcribe a solo for you, let's say on YouTube or for a student or for myself or whatever, I have to determine where that solo is. If we're doing a solo, I have to determine where they're playing on the neck. And that comes in handy when I know how to move this about the fretboard. It also is helpful because of that flattened B string. It messes with our lick patterns sometimes, and so maybe it's going to look one way on strings 2 and 1, might look differently on 2 and 3 or 3 and 4. So I'll demonstrate that here in just a moment. So you know, different tonalities you're going to be able to bring out of the strings playing different places. How your favorite guitar player played their solo. It's going to help with transcribing because you're going to know basically where that person's at on the neck, etc. There's a million reasons why you would want to know this. But for instance, if I played this lick, this little blues lick, I could play that right here, or see, so that's really cool because when I'm soloing, just like I teach, I have a video here on YouTube. It's pretty recently, basically the one blues pattern that you need to know to be able to play all over the neck. You can search for something like that. Basically, it's the same idea that really when we're talking any scale, you're just talking maybe 7 notes at the most, but when you're talking the pentatonic scale, you're only talking 5 notes. The blues scale, 6. And when you see Stevie Ray Vaughan or any of these guys ripping up and down the fretboard, 99% of the time they're just playing those 6 blue notes, those 6 notes from the blues scale. Now every now and then they'll throw a color, what we call a color note in there, but for the most part they're playing the same notes. So you could play the same licks all over the neck. Instead of memorizing all these different patterns, you're playing the same exact pattern, but in different places on the neck. Okay, it's just a different way to think about this. Get that PDF attached to this video and it'll make more sense, okay? So just like, you know, our high E string could be duplicated by playing the 5th fret of the B string, then we can do the same thing here. Now for any strings other than from the 2nd to the 3rd, there's a distance of 4 frets away from the duplicated note. So for instance, here is the high E. I'm gonna go up 4 frets. 1, 2, 3, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets. There's 4 notes, 4 frets in between it. So so here we are, high E. On the next string that's lower, I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's gonna match. Now we're gonna skip strings 2 and 3 for a minute, okay? Now here, there's a high E still. That's on the 3rd string. Now if I wanna play that again, I'm gonna go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm gonna go down a string. I'll show you that again. Here we are. I'm gonna go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go down a string. Same note. Here we're gonna do the same thing. High E, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go down a string. Same thing. Let's do it for the last one. Here we go. Here's a high E. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna be somewhere around there. We don't have a fret for that, so we'd have to bend up a whole step to get there accurately. We're not gonna do that, but you get the idea. Now, the difference between strings 2 and 3 is there's 3 frets in between them. So you're actually gonna go up 4 frets instead of 5 like earlier. So here's a high E. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But here we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go up a string. Same note. Okay, so just remember that it's either going to be 4 or 5 frets. Usually it's 5 frets, but if you're talking about going from the 2nd to the 3rd string, it's going to be 4 frets that you're going up. Okay, that will throw you off just a little bit. And when you're playing your patterns, you got to think the same thing too. So like, so I'm going to play the B string on this one, but the B string is tuned down a half step. So for any notes that I play on there, I'm going to move them up a half step. So I can't go. I gotta go. So these two are on the same frets. This is 3 and 5, right? This, I have to shift. Makes sense? So that's gonna need a little bit more attention there. All right, my friends, those are the 6 easy, powerful, proven patterns that are going to help you dominate the fretboard. I told you these were wicked good, and that was a long-ass lesson right there. It's 33 minutes. Ish. A little less than that. All right, my friends. Hey, listen here. I want to help you. I'm very, very passionate about playing guitar. I'll say this to you as I say to all my students. There's nothing stopping you from being the best guitar player in the world if you really want to be that, okay? It's a matter of practice. It's a matter of having a good resource that can help you learn how to play guitar. And I start off with a ton of free stuff. I've got other stuff if you ever want to pay for it, but in the meanwhile, take advantage of all the free stuff. YourGuitarSage.com/30. Make sure you go to that link after this. Do it right now so it opens up in another tab, and you'll be so happy. Your mom will be proud of you because you didn't spend $1,000 and almost 40 weeks with me. 30 weeks actually it would be. You didn't spend that much and moved to Nashville or have to travel to Nashville. You just clicked on a link and saved a bunch of money. So she'll make you happy, or she'll be very happy. Okay, what else, my friends? I'm on Facebook and Twitter and all those places. Would love to help you out. Please like and subscribe. Leave your comments below. Let me know if you have any questions or if you have any comments about this video, nice or otherwise, and preferably nice. I don't like ugly people, mean people, that is. Leave your comments below. Would love to help you out. And as always, my friends, be kind to all beings. Don't trust the man. Practice your guitar. I'll see you in the next video.